Hi, and welcome to another episode of Arrange Your Own Marriage. In last week's episode, we spoke about how to identify your partner type and how to actually use that information to set up your profile on a matrimonial website and have preferences and filters set up so that you get interests from interesting people, right? So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about the search process itself. Once you've set up your profile on a matrimonial platform, what do you then do? How do you go about conducting the search? Once you've set up your preferences and filters, make sure that on a daily basis, or let's say once in 2-3 days, you only look at interests that you've received that have come in through the filters that you've set up, and you're looking at, let's say, the 20 profiles that the platform is recommending on a daily basis. Most of these big matrimonial websites like your Bharat Matrimony or Shadi.com or Jeevan Sathi, for instance, give out daily recommendations of, let's say, 10 profiles or 20 profiles that match your preferences. And if you just evaluated those profiles on a daily basis, that is enough for the machine to learn your preferences and for you to be able to actually sift through the various profiles that are there on the platform. If you search endlessly, you can spend hours and feel really jaded, and also leaves you with this feeling of, oh, I've looked at thousands of people, I didn't find anybody, maybe there's no one out there for me. That sort of feeling sets in, which is not really positive or not really useful for the search. So I would say, try not overdoing it, but allocate time every day, say 15 minutes, just for doing what I say. And if you feel like you don't want to do this process every day and you want to do it, let's say, once a week, that's also totally fine, because the rate at which new profiles join these platforms is not so high that, if you don't do it for 2 days, third day, you're going to lose track of all the people that are out there. If you feel like you don't have the time to do this, then you can consider, let's say, asking your friends or family to do it on your behalf, where they actually filter out the noise on these platforms and only introduce you to the most relevant people because they know you best. It's always a great idea to take the support of family, because they know you best, and they're invested in actually finding someone for you. Make sure you're very honest and upfront and clear with them about what you're looking for, and just as you would do on these platforms, make sure that you indicate to them what are strict filters and what are not, because quite often what I see is that people and their parents don't necessarily align on the same things, especially when you are staying away from your parents and have been staying away from your parents for a long time. There is a tendency for parents to have not learned who you have become as a person outside of home. So a lot of people who live away from parents find it hard to get their parents to engage them in finding someone for them. You will need to make an assessment of how much time and energy you have, and how much money you want to spend on this, and depending on what you're trying to trade off, there are plenty of options available for you to be able to conduct the search quite seamlessly without really losing your mind. If you're trying to optimize for everything at once, it might be quite difficult. If you're not able to get your family or friends to support you with this, you can also hire relationship managers on any of these platforms. You can also hire independent consultants. There are quite a few of them, including myself, who help people sift through the noise on these platforms. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to the service that I offer for people who are looking to get married, where I actually sit down with people, understand what their requirements are, and I represent them on these platforms, and I help them sift through the noise, or help identify the most suitable people for them and touch base with them on a regular basis, and only connect them with 1 or 2 people every fortnight, so they can actually spend more time having a conversation with somebody, getting to know them, instead of having to just spend all of their time just looking for suitable profiles. Some of the most common mistakes to avoid in the search process is to send an interest to like 100 people a day, and just keep sending interests without any let's say, without paying any heed to what exactly you're looking for, because you have this feeling that that's how you need to maximize the odds, just remember that at the end of the day, you just need to find one person who you can spend the rest of your life with. And it doesn't matter how many people you match with, because I feel like a lot of times we end up forgetting the aim of the game and end up trying to maximize the number of matches we get. That's really not the aim. It's about finding the right person. So even if you're not sending out too many interests, it's completely okay. When you get an interest from someone, what you want to try and do is respond to that ASAP, because remember that just like you, the other person is also receiving interest from a lot of people. And so if you don't respond immediately to an interest you've received, likely they're talking to someone else. Remember that when they have sent you an interest, maybe they are open to talking to people and that's why they've sent you an interest. If you sit on it for a month and then respond, they may not be available. So try and respond ASAP, even if you feel unsure. Take a day or two and respond, because it's also not nice to leave people hanging. At the end of the day, even though you're looking at thousands of people or the hundreds of people every day, remember that you only need to find one person to spend the rest of your life with, and just focus on that. You don't need to be talking to 3 or 4 people at a time, or worry that no one's sending you an interest or no one's accepting your interest for weeks together. These numbers in between don't really matter. As I said, if you find the search process really exhausting, you can go through my website. I'm going to add a link to my website here where I offer assistance services. If you feel like this could be beneficial for you, I'm happy to help. So yeah, I hope you don't lose your mind too much trying to look for the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, and you actually spend more time being with them rather than looking for them. Happy spouse hunting.